Hi you winners, and welcome to another Winning Wednesday. Now for this Winning Wednesday, I'm actually going to take one of your guys' ideas, and it's specifically Carlos, and the last or two Winning Wednesdays ago had posted a comment that was a great suggestion, and I'm gonna try it out because I think it's a great idea personally, and I think it works really well for Winning Wednesdays. So I'm going to change up how I do Winning Wednesdays. We'll see how this goes. Let me know what you guys think about it. I don't want to like sit here and talk for like 20 minutes only to find out that you guys don't care about anything I talk about. So what they had suggested is that I talk about and focus and highlight games that I'm playing throughout the week. So that way, if I like something that's not getting a lot of attention, narcosis, then I could talk about it in a Winning Wednesday, and maybe you guys will then look at it and give it a chance. So I think that's a fantastic idea because I think it gives people the chance to know if something might be in their interest before attacking it. Attacking especially a longer Let's Play. Ow. So I'm gonna give that a shot in this Winning Wednesday. On top of that, I know I'm not good with words. I know I'm not. Whereas Carlos, I have to say, you have a fantastic way with words and describing how like Night in the Woods was, or Narcosis, and your ideas about it. I'm not as eloquent. I am more blunt and simple with my words because from being dyslexic, I haven't read a lot, and I didn't want to read or write a lot because I was very uncomfortable around words. So I will do my best, but we'll see how this goes. So for this week, I'll start from this last week, and then I'll kind of touch on live stream games that I've been doing, and then some games that I plan on uploading in the future because I have a feeling next Wednesday will be a little too hectic to be able to post a Winning Wednesday. I just have this huge feeling because 2 major games are coming out on Tuesday and 1 on Friday. I luckily did get permission from my boss so far to have Tuesday off so I can whip out a bunch of videos of those things for you guys, but it might require me holding off a Winning Wednesday for another week. So there's not one next week, this is why. Let me get started with talking about some games I've already uploaded this last week. So I'm Still Here. That was uploaded last week, and that was quite the interesting game. It's very short, so if you guys haven't already watched it, I'm surprised. But it definitely took me by surprise. It's got an adorable little plot twist that I was not expecting, but I called it right before it happened. So I felt very proud, especially in the playthrough, but I was pleasantly surprised by this game. I saw a bunch of people play it. The graphics aren't that much different than what you'd see in any other indie game, but the plot twist was definitely unique, and I will say it for that was worth it. If you guys haven't given I'm Still Here a chance, for 9 minutes you might as well. It's pretty great when it comes to its story. But interactivity, it's not anything unique, it's just the story. So I will say for the next one though, I have 2 videos for it, one of which was uploaded today and the other one was uploaded last week. The Unique Adventure. These are by the same people that made Deadloop. And this is completely different from Deadloop. Deadloop was trying primarily to be horror, and you could choose either the jump scare route or you could choose the story-driven route. And in that case, I actually really liked the story-driven route way more. But they actually contacted me and asked me to play the Unique Adventure because they really liked my playthrough of Deadloop. And this is also another game of theirs that is getting kickstarted. I really enjoy their games, actually. I know that some other YouTubers didn't enjoy at least Deadloop that much, but the Unique Adventure is very much like Stanley Parable. So if you guys like Stanley Parable games, this is totally up your alley. I have not played Stanley Parable on the channel, but that's because I saw someone play it all the way through. There's also another game that's exactly like it that I can't recall at this moment, but this is a narrator talking over what you're doing, kind of trying to get you to do what he wants you to do, but you can defy him. That's why I have a defy ending and an obey ending. This is just their demo for the Kickstarter, but I will say that this narrator seems a little more aggressive than the Stanley Parable narrator. And I enjoy that. That means they tried to make it their own, and I'll take it. There's a lot more consequences for if you don't listen, or like they are more consequences for the player. You can tell they're for the player and not for the character itself. So I found that very interesting, a very unique turn, at least for the Defy ending. The Obey one was definitely, like, I also chose comedy versus horror in each video, but you could tell by the thumbnail. But I will say for the Obey ending, it's not as fun to fight with the narrator, but there's something going down with the narrator that I'm not sure what's happening, but there's something that's off towards the ending of the video. So if you guys watch it all the way through, which you totally should, it kind of hints at that, and I don't know where they're gonna go from there. I already said it in the Obey ending, but I will say it again, or I think I said it in both. I really like this game, and I really hope that even if they don't hit their Kickstarter, that they will still continue to make this and develop this game. That the Kickstarter is maybe just an accelerant for that, but if it's the determining factor on if you do the game or not, I really think the game should just be done anyway, because I really enjoyed it, and I would pay a couple bucks for it at least. So I think they should keep going with it. So if you guys have not seen it yet, you totally should, especially if Stanley Parable type games are up your alley with like the narrator being sassy as fuck. It's pretty fantastic. So then the next game is this game was pretty interesting. A Day in the Life of a Slice of Bread. It is a long-winded title. It also took me completely by surprise. The person who made the game made the description sound very serious. They said that this is a game that will make you cry, it's super serious, you'll need a box of tissue, stuff like that. It was pretty great. It definitely wasn't what you would expect. They thought of so many different endings. There are many different endings, and I'm sure I missed like half of them at least. And they obviously had a lot of fun with it. I replaced all the music because I wasn't sure if it was royalty free. But if you guys are interested in it, you should just play it yourselves because it's definitely worth the first experience for it. It's small and it's not that like interactive in the sense of walking around or anything. It's decision based. It's just what decisions you make depend on the ending you get. And it's adorable and really ridiculous in some endings, really sweet in others, really sad in others. So pretty much what you decide depends on your experience with the game. So if you guys haven't checked it out, you totally should, even if it's just on your own. So another one, and it's free to play. A lot of these, almost all of the games that I play that are short little one-shot indie games are free, usually. But I'll try to remember to specify if they're not. For the next one, it's called Fairy Walk, or at least I'm pretty sure it's pronounced Fairy Walk. This game was surreal horror. It definitely creeped me out in some sections, but it was very much like Alice in Wonderland in other sections and very heavily influenced from that. But I have this feeling that it's almost this lore from fairies. I'm not sure from what country, but it definitely has this air about it that is supernatural beings that are screwing around with us as humans, or I think you're a little boy in this. I definitely had quite a few scares, so if you guys want to see that. On top of that, it is very unique in exploration because you can interact with a lot of stuff, and it starts to get a little overwhelming right when you start, but then you slowly start to realize what connects to what. I overlooked a few things here and there because I'm just not observant, but I will say for the observant people, it's probably a quicker experience, but one that's more thorough because I, like I said, missed a few things. But I love the atmosphere of it. It's super dark. It's really atmospheric with the like fog that's everywhere. On top of that, with the bright colors to just lead you in certain directions. And there's a cat, and you guys know I like my cat, which I realize might have been Cheshire now that I think about it. Because it's not obviously Alice in Wonderland, but there are definitely quite a few influenced moments in it. But it's definitely down some sort of rabbit hole that I'm not sure about, and it says it's a prologue, so it may or may not lead to a longer game. So if you guys like that kind of stuff, surreal horror especially, I would definitely check it out. The next one is Welcome to Hanwell. I played this on Saturday, or at least I uploaded it Saturday, and that is a demo to a game that's planning on coming out in late 2017. And Welcome to Hanwell is a horror game, definitely, that is a little more on the atmospheric side than the jump scare side, so I'll take that. I like atmosphere in my games. It's a little bit of lacking story, but it's also a demo, so I think they're not planning on giving too much story away because they want to add that into the game itself. But I will say the monster made me really freak out because I don't like girls with long dark hair. On top of that, it's in a jail cell, and I'm usually not frightened by that, but the way they went about the creepy feeling of the jail cells and the blood smears, I'm normally also not a fan of. But for some reason in this game, it really impacted me, like, because it's not bright red on the walls, really obnoxious indie game type deal of like bad indie game type deal. This is actually done in a way that's like, it's dark and wet. You can tell it's supposed to be blood, but it's not red, or at least you can't tell it's red, because it's just so, it's more in line with how a bunch of blood on the floor would look in a dark corridor. So they did definitely a lot better in the graphics area than a lot of other indie horror games do. And they do seem to have a plan that's bigger than this demo. So if you guys do like your indie horrors, I would say this is one to check out for sure. Just not sure how the final game will be. We'll see. So, and then the next one that I did a video of was Crystal Confines. Now this is more on the sweet side, more on the innocent side, not indie horror or anything like that. But it definitely took me by surprise at one moment where it became a mini horror for 2 hot seconds, and I was not expecting that at all. But I like this game a lot. Crystal Confines has so many possibilities for it. It literally could become a bigger game that's actually really interesting and super sad. It could be a really good story-driven emotional game, but it's only 20 minutes. It made my computer freak out for some reason, and it's just, that's all it's gonna be. I'm really hoping that the developer of it sees my video and maybe thinks they should go farther with it, because I really want to see more from this game. I don't want to spoil too much, but it's about a girl in a snow globe and about a boy in an hourglass. Snow globes are definitely where time stands still, and hourglasses are obviously time consistently moving. There's so many possibilities with this, so many, but they obviously weren't used because this was a 20-minute little demo, or not even demo, but a 20-minute little game that they made. And it's so good, and the pixel art is really fantastic. So I have high hopes for this game to become a bigger thing, but if you guys have no idea what I'm talking about, I really suggest checking it out if you guys like story-driven games, because it has possibilities. So the last game that I have played this last week was Bendy. So Bendy just came out yesterday, Chapter 2. So I have played Chapter 1. It is already on the channel way in the past. And I will try to put links in the description to all these if I remember, but pretty much Bendy is about an old-time cartoon, and it's animators, or not even animators. It seems like it's about anyone that worked on the project. As a game as a whole, I love Bendy. Like, I love the atmosphere of it. I love the aesthetic. I love the fact that everything looks like it's animated itself. It feels like I'm in a Bendy show episode. Like, it actually feels like that. And I feel like this is a really good homage to, like, Felix the Cat, Steamboat Willie, like all the old-time cartoons. This definitely touches on that instead of having it be like a new cartoon show or anything like that. I feel like there's a certain feel for the old ones that can give this creepy, old, like, run-down feeling that a new cartoon wouldn't have the same feeling for. So I think that the developers of this game did an amazing job at making something that's unique and making something that people can really connect to, especially people who love animations and artists, and pretty much, and like, they really promote artists with fan art contests and stuff. I really love Bendy as a whole, and their scares are actually really good. I don't see many games use scares how they do. And so if you guys like horror, I highly suggest Bendy. So that is what's been going on for indie games this last week, but I will say I have some live stream videos that have been uploaded and will be uploaded. This last couple days was Rain World. If you guys haven't checked that out, it's a really interesting platformer, but it's really dark. Lots of different ways to die, lots of different monsters. Boy, do I die a lot. But I'm just extremely fascinated by this game. The art is beautiful. I absolutely adore Rain World's art. It's just like this post-apocalyptic with splashes of color, and it's beautifully done with pixels. Like, it's all pixel art. On top of that, I am so connected to this slug cat. Like, I want to protect him. And the beginning is so sad. So I have a feeling it's very much like Ori once you get farther. And as every time I hibernate, there's more story, but it's all visual. Nothing's being told to you. So it's definitely abstract in its way of going about storytelling. And I'm really intrigued on where it's gonna go, but I don't know if I'm gonna actually be able to beat this. So even if you don't watch mine, I highly suggest watching someone's playthrough of it that is really good at it and able to finish the game, because I have a feeling I'm not gonna be able to just out of pure difficulty level, because that's how it's meant to be. And I'm okay with that. That's not a complaint at all. This game is totally worth trying as hard as some people do to beat this game. I just literally don't think I have the skill. But if you guys have not checked out Rain World and you really like story-driven apocalyptic games, on top of that cute ones, because it is cute in some moments, but it's also really morbid in others, and if you like that kind of even balance, Rain World is definitely a check out. The other game that I am live streaming side by side, it seems like, with Rain World is Andromeda. I know a lot of you already know what Mass Effect is and Andromeda is. If you guys don't know, though, it is a sci-fi game where you make a lot of decisions. In Andromeda, you are shaping your personality, because in Mass Effect 1, 2, and 3, it was Renegade versus Paragon. So are you really lawful and good, or are you an asshole and just want to punch everyone in the face? In Mass Effect Andromeda, though, they definitely have tried to make multiple options. So there are 4 different kind of themed options, and all of them are stuff like, I've been everywhere. I've chosen from each different option, and nothing's a clear-cut good or bad option. It is very much responses you would usually have in those type of situations. So I really like that for Mass Effect. A lot of people are like, oh, it's space and combat, and I don't really like fighting. Honestly, and I'm playing on casual, so you're not gonna see a lot of that if you guys watch my playthroughs. If you watch mine, I go way more into the story in the sense of like with the characters. I really like the character development of everyone. I get emotionally attached to everyone, but you also have romance options, so you can get it on with whoever you want. I am choosing to romance Alien right now, so if you guys want to see how that plays out. I love Tyrians, just if you guys didn't know. If you guys don't want to give up on Mass Effect, you shouldn't. It's fantastic. So the last 2 things I will talk about are what I'm uploading the next 2 days. One of them is called The Egg. That'll be up tomorrow, it should be, along with Andromeda. And The Egg is an interactive, story-driven game. It is based entirely off of a short story that I think it's called The Egg, and they got permission from the writer to make a little interactive story about it. And I love this story. I was halfway through the game when I realized what story it is, but I absolutely really do love this story, just as a mind-blowing story. So if you guys want to hear something that I don't know if you have or have not heard of, I read it on Tumblr first and then played it here, but I like it for just its storytelling aspect. It is on the spiritual aspect, so it's trying to get into the different ideas about religion or the universe in general, but it is actually really a neat idea. You don't even have to believe it, you don't even have to like take it word for word or anything. It's just honestly a cool thing to think about. So I will not spoil any more. It's not gameplay heavy, it's walking around talking to something. And as a story though, I think it's beautiful, and it's a very interesting way of looking at things, and I adore looking at things from a new perspective. So that if you guys like having your mind a little bit blown, or if you like looking at things from different viewpoints, I think this is a really good game, a really good story. So that will be up tomorrow, and then on Friday is something called Vacant, which really took me by surprise. So if you guys like games that seem innocent and then turn into something a little darker and a little creepier, I highly suggest watching Vacant. They also plan on maybe making more with it with Patreon, so they have a Patreon that they are planning to use to support it, and I think it's actually really interesting. I was taken by surprise completely and utterly. I thought this was gonna be like just a little chill game where I'm, you know, walking around investigating shit, and it definitely creeped me out and made me really invested in the story and knowing more, and you can tell they want to add more to this game, so I highly encourage that. It is an I'm gonna get this wrong, but I feel like isometric or something. It's a top-down view of this woman. Some of the gameplay controls are a little clunky, but they can always work on that. It does not impact the story for me. I did break it at one point, but I was able to save it, so it was okay. And like the art style, at first I was like, oh, well, this is really simple, but it actually ends up working later for something they want to do that I was completely taken aback by. Like, I'm probably using words all kinds of wrong here, but I was completely turned around and was like, what is happening in this game? It was interesting, I will say, and I think it's totally worth it. It'll be a longer one, hence why it's uploaded Friday. I'm pretty sure it'll be uploaded Friday. But if you guys like creepy games, and even so, like, it's not scary, it's not horror, I will say that. It is mystery, and it is just a tinge on the creepy side. If you guys like games like that, and that might take you by surprise, or be more, if you like mystery games in general, this is definitely totally for you, and you guys should check it out. So, this is long-winded, I know, and I have a feeling I'm gonna be able to slowly get better at describing games as I go on. I know this is a little more on the messy side because I was trying to figure stuff out. I'm trying to figure out how to communicate how I feel about a game to you guys, and also try and figure out what's important to say about it and what's not. I am also trying to figure out how to use words better, so I feel like that'll go along a little bit easier as I do these more and more. Let me know what you guys thought about this. If you guys like the idea of me explaining some games to you guys to pique some interest, because that's honestly what I love doing, is showing you guys games that I never knew existed, or maybe I did and I don't think get as much attention. I absolutely love showcasing indie games because I love showing what people create. And to be able to showcase that to you guys and also show you in a short list what these games are about, and maybe that'll pique your guys' interest. I really like that. So thank you, Carlos, for the suggestion, but let me know how you guys liked this. I will hopefully get more concise, like I said, as I go on. But that was this week's Winning Wednesday. Otherwise, I will see you guys for the live streams this weekend, whenever they are. Sunday will be a little later, because Sunday I have lunch with my grandma's, so I will not be able to do the normal time. It will probably be more in the evening, and I apologize for anyone that's not used to that. But I don't know what I'm going to record. I'm thinking some short indie games though. And then Friday will probably be the art stream. It'll be a little earlier than usual, I think, because Sunday I have to wake up really early. Saturday. The days. Saturday I have to wake up early, and so I think I need to art stream earlier, but it will be for the thumbnail of Pinstripes, that way I can prepare for that for Tuesday. And then the following weekend will be Little Nightmares. So that's the plan for this next week. But I hope you guys enjoyed this Winning Wednesday as much as it was different. And I will see you guys in the next one, which will be in 2 weeks, remember? Probably not one next week. Probably. And I will see you guys for that one. Otherwise, I will see you guys in the next playthrough or the next game that maybe I intrigued you with. And I will see you guys for that. So keep winning, guys.